Hey there, viewers, and welcome back to the Self-Made Auto Channel. We're sitting inside the 2013 Nissan Altima. No idea what engines, but I'm sure it's big. And he writes, well, customer complaint is no windshield squirter, no washer squirter in the front. Which I thought, hey, easy peasy. But we'll look and see where he's at. And I doubt it's easy because it sounds like he was pretty thorough. Replace the washer fluid pump. Tested new and old pumps with separate 12-volt power source, semicolon, both worked and pump fluid. Checked fuses, all good. Left new pump and fluid tank. Original is in the box on the seat over here. Bought a used controller stick. One of these. Did not fix a problem. New and used stick in the box on the seat. Reinstalled the OG in the car. I talked with a local Nissan dealer. They gave me a schematic. That was nice of them. They thought maybe a grounding problem. Drawing is in the box on the seat. Didn't swap any relays. Not sure. Didn't really know, perhaps. Didn't really know which one to change. And didn't want to take a chance of shorting something out. Had 12 volts on the black wire at the pump plug. Nothing on the orange. Call me anytime at 867-5309. Ask for Jenny. So let's see. He's got a schematic. He said he had power on black wire at pump. Nothing on orange. Okay, black wire on pump is the full-time power from a fuse. The tan wire, or orange, is from the washer motor control, which I can't see the rest of this diagram. So, anyhow, let's see what we see. So I think first thing, I plugged the scan tool in because I'm sure we're going to need that because this looks overly complicated for a washer system. One thing I noticed, I'm going to pull back on the stock here, which should be wash. And the wipers do kick on, so it's like it's receiving the signal. You know, we got high, low, we have intermittent, we have off, and when I flick it up to mist, pull back to wash, and it activates the wiper. So that's a good sign, I guess. So we'll take the little bit we know, and I let it run a full scan here. So we're going to go to the report to see if this has any clues. CVT judder check, imagine that CVT problem. Ambient sensor, sun load sensor, doesn't look like anything there that's helpful. What module do we want to go in here? We'll just pop into perhaps the body module. I thought I saw some kind of rear camera business on this diagram here. It's a combination switch, BCM, F motor. Alright, well, let's see. Let's see if our signal's making it somewheres here. And then we'll have to get our own diagram because that one's kind of split up on a couple pages. Hey, how about wiper? We'll pick that one. Active test. What we got? We got a squirter. Headlamp washer. Does this thing got headlamp washers on it? Switch push. Oh. That's just data. Oh, we got some kind of error. Must be it doesn't have a headlamp washer. Anyways, let's just go to live data. Let's quit being silly. Rear washer switch. What? Front wiper stop. Front intermittent. Rear wiper on. This doesn't even have a rear wiper. Front wiper switch. Front wiper switch on, so it recognizes when we turn it on, but I don't see anything here. High speed, low speed, switches. This must be, this PID right here must be the front washer switch because when I turn it on, it doesn't change. When I turn it on high, it doesn't change. And when I turn on intermittent, so we have intermittent, low, high. But when I pull back on wash, the wiper switches to on. Let me see what it does when I go to mist. Okay, so when I go to mist, it also goes on. So, yeah, our intermittent volume, that changes. push SW, I don't know what that means. Headlamp washer switch, I don't know what that means. Okay, well, not a ton of data in there for us, that's helpful. So back out of the main menu, I see there is a combination switch. I don't know if that's just going to be turn signal stuff. Headlamp, tail lamp, turn signal, rear wash, rear wiper, front wiper. Dang it all to heck. Has everything but what we want. Yeah, it's got all the headlamp stuff, turn signal crap. Dang it all! Stinking Nissans. So I'm going to log in here, folks. I want to get us a wiring diagram. We got to know what we're looking at. We've gathered a little bit of information. We'll assume it's a 2-4. I don't know. We need to gather a little information, look at a diagram, and then now we have to, work a plan a little bit here and see. That's for a coupe. I'll find the right one. This is a sedan with rear view camera. I'm pretty sure this car has rear view camera. Fire it up here. I think it pops up here. It does. So we do have a rear view camera, so that's good to know. Okay, let me see what we can find here. See if we find anything useful. So I think I found something useful here, folks. So this is the diagram for wipe wash sedan with rear view camera, because the camera makes a big difference in your washer. So let's go down and start with the washer itself. So there's the washer motor. He said he had power on, what did he say, the orange? Where are we at here? He had power on the black, but not the orange. So where does the black wire go? He had power on the black, but not the orange. The black wire goes up here to the rear view camera washer control unit, because that makes sense. Okay, so I'm not going to try to make sense of it, folks. Combination switch. Oops. Son of a monkey. We need to get out of that. There's our combination switch right there. That's where our washer input comes from. So that's the stalk up here on the steering wheel. Apparently when we push the washer motor, it sends a signal to the rear view camera washer control unit on the left side of the luggage compartment. That I don't know why it does that. Pump motor for the navigation system. Washer motor plus and minus. So for whatever reason, this rear view camera unit controls the front windshield washer. I say we try to find that, because obviously we can't talk to it. And the reason we can't see that output in the BCM is because it doesn't talk to the BCM. I don't know what kind of output that is. Perhaps service data will tell us. I don't know if that's a ground output. It probably is, because the combination switch has a ground on it. So they're probably ground switched inputs. Looking at it where it goes into the body module here, they're probably just ground signals, because they are all individual wires, it looks like. Combination switch inputs. That's what I would assume. So I would assume that when we push the washer button, when we flick back on that, it sends a ground signal to this rear view camera washer control unit. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. So let's go there. If we're getting that signal there, at that point, then we'll check. We should have continuity through this. I see we have a connector here, this E2 connector. I don't know where that is. Maybe that's right down on the motor. Maybe we can look in the box here. Maybe his old motor has a pigtail hanging off it, and it does not. So there's his motor. So that doesn't have a pigtail, so that connector is not this connector. So that's good to know. We could have some corrosion. We could look to see where this E202 or 203, see where that connector is. But I say we find this thing, make some of our tests right from there. I assume this control unit's working because the camera's working, and I assume that has something to do with the camera. Who knows? I guess one thing worthy to note, she's been whacked in the left side. So we're back here in the luggage compartment, folks. We'll see. Oh, okay, those got a cap on them. I'm just kind of curious if we can pull the rug back here a little bit. I don't know if that unit, it says left side of luggage compartment, so I assume it's in here. That's where the damage is. That panel's smashed up, so let's take and pop these things off and have a little gander. There's that, so there's all those. Let's pull this little guy. Oops, I got one up here. I'm hoping it's just something broken here where this car got smashed up. Let's see. I'm not seeing a module. Let me get a light. Alright, so left side of luggage compartment must mean up here under the actual lid itself. So I'm going to pop all these plastic clips off. We'll have a gander up here and see what we find. Well, folks, it looks like I have failed yet again. There's the camera wires. What the thunder? Alright, folks, completely my fault. Jumped the gun. Washer, rear washer, camera, rear camera washer. Some Nissans come equipped with a rear camera washer and a little blower motor that washes it and then blows it dry. So, wrong diagram, wrong info, wild goose chase. I should follow my own advice sometime and, you know, get a little information before you get hog wild. So what we need is the diagram here for the wiper washer sedan without rear camera washer control circuit. I don't know how I got misled on that, but I did. I think because he mentioned orange wire, and I see these are orange and black. Make sure it turns off. At any rate, we will get to the correct diagram. Washer motor on washer fluid reservoir, and that gets its signal directly from the combination switch. Okay, so our little stalk up here, the washer output comes directly out of that and goes directly to the washer motor. Okay, so that's, again, that's why we can't see it, because it does not go over here to the body module. It has full-time power from fuse 50. Guess we can use it right here. Full-time power from fuse 50. It's a 10 amp, which changes colors 1, 2, 3, 4 times. It goes through multiple connectors, which is kind of nice. So the black wire, and that's what he said he had power on. But we have a tan wire that has, again, I think it's the same connector number, if that's their connector numbers. E202, E30, light green or tan, coming out of the multifunction switch. So we're going to make some assumptions. We're going to assume that the multifunction switch is likely okay. I'm going to see if I can find the location of these connectors, this E202, this E30. If those are connector numbers, I'm going to take a look and see if I can't find where that stuff goes. See if we can, you know, check under the dash where this thing changes color. Do we have signal there? And then do we have signal there? And I assume he's doing the testing right. I shouldn't assume. We should go to look at it, see if it's all corroded. But we'll get a little data this time before we go digging. So E202. So Nissan stuff is a little weird. I don't work on a lot of Nissans. The first number here is going to be our grid reference on the picture. Our connector number, color of the connector, number of cavities, and what it goes to. So we need in the grid F2 and then connector E2. So let's see, A, B, C, D, E, F across the bottom. So second one in, E2. That's our connector number, and it should be, what is it? What is this thing over here? I think it's their IPDM, their fuse box thing. Okay. Alright, so based on what we know, from what the fellow said, he had power on the black wire, not on the orange. I'm assuming maybe the tan looked orange to him. So theoretically, if the washer pump is good, which he says it was because he jumped power to it and it worked, power should be going in, you know, through all the different connections, through the motor and out of the motor, looking for a ground signal to turn on. What we're going to do, if this connector is easily accessible, this E202 to E2 connector, pin 3 tan, which supposedly should be in a white connector, white 8-pin connector, if that's easily accessible, we're going to look to see if we have power there, because we should have power coming through the motor, power coming out, and power to there. If we do, then we're going to work our way back to the washer motor. If we have no power there, we're going to try to dig out where the washer motor is and verify that we actually have a good power source. So I pulled the lid off this thing, and I see we have a white connector, several white connectors. This is 3 pins there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8 pins, and I do see a tan wire. Let's make sure we're at here. Yeah, so we have a tan wire. Of course, we can't see the back half of that connector, and I don't know what else. What else is on it? Perhaps just because we don't want to get burned, we'll go like this. Shrink this back down. See if we can just do E202. See if we can find it to see what color wires are in it. Perhaps E202. Well, according to this, it is the right one because it's got the empty cavity and then 8 pins, white, goes wire to wire. That's just a connector view. So that's good. At least we're on the right one. Now we'll get our handy dandy test light. I left the key on. Technically, as we looked before, we should have power here if it's not broken. Oh, look at that. And we do. And the other part of the theory is if we ground this, right? If we ground that, the washer pump should kick on. Let me do something here, folks. I'm gonna have Jay pull on the washer stalk for us because that should go to ground if that's, you know, if everything's hunky-dory.
You pull back?
Yeah, you pull back on it. Okay, that's not going to ground, folks. All right, that's good, Jay. Now, before we just dead short this thing to ground and, you know, light her up in a cloud of smoke, I want to go back to a wiring diagram. Wrong button, fella. We want to go back to the wiring diagrams, and then we're going to find a way to safely do this. That's with rear camera, without rear camera, 10 E2 washer motor. To make sure that we're on the right circuit, the best thing to do is to pull this fuse. Our power at that point should disappear. I think we're going to play error on the side of caution. We've already made too many mistakes on this car. I assume, is this thing the fuse box? Oh, that's right. It says Piss Pot Nissan. It's got their IPDM thing here. IPDM, is that where the washer is located? Or the fuse? Yep, it's in the IPDM. Fuse 50, 10 amp. So I'm going to have to try to find that one here. A lot of 10 ampers in here. Washer motor right there, 10 amp. If these are labeled correctly, it should be that one there. Let me get a pair of pliers. Oh, you guys probably can't see. That's okay, trust me. Alright, so let's take our test light, slide her down in the cavity, and you can see that that is on. And if we pull this fuse, it should go out if we're on the correct circuit. Oh, and it did. So this tells us a couple things here, fellas. Okay, because now it's lit back up if you can see it. So what's that tell us? Let's think about this. That tells us that from our fuse box down to our washer pump, through the black wire, out of the washer pump, and then back to the tan wire is good.
Over.
Yeehaw! What's up, Mrs. O?
Is the cruise all set?
Chevy Cruise.
Away?
You bet it is. You know, ironically enough, it has no cruise control.
Oh man.
So hopefully that makes sense to us. You know as much as I do now. Power through the fuse, down through all these wires, into the washer motor, back out on the tan wire, and now we're heading back to the washer switch, which ultimately should ground it when we pull on it. So theoretically, let me get a jump wire. So I've got a fused jump wire. We should be able to go battery negative and touch this and squirt squirters. Or not, or just blow the fuse. That shouldn't have blew the fuse. What happened, fella? Well, that was an epic fail, folks. if the wire diagram here is correct, that should have worked. Power's coming in one side of the motor, out the other. This side goes to ground. The wiper switch is not grounding it. If the motor was junk, I would assume it would be open circuited, so we wouldn't have a light. Or the other plausible option is that the wiper motor or the washer motor is junk in the sense that you put power to it, it's shorted, physically stuck, something like that. I guess we need to go to the wiper motor at this point and unplug it. The guy did say he jumpered 12 volts to it and it worked, so I'm just, when I talked to him, he seemed relatively intelligent, so I didn't want to go digging into that. One thing I do want to do though is unplug this connector. Technically we should still, if this is the E202, we should still have power on this side and nothing on this side. Let's make sure we're going in the right direction here. So yes, we still have power on this side. Should have nothing down here. And we don't. Okay. We are looking at colored wiring diagrams on Mitchell, so we do need to make sure that we're not being led astray. That's always plausible. Never trust your service data, OEM or not. It can always be wrong. But at this point, let's go to the washer motor. Feel kind of like a dummy popping a fuse. What we should have done is this, a little safer than a fuse. This is only going to draw 4 amps. This is a headlamp. If we stick it in there, if it's, see that should turn the wiper motor out, or the washer circuit on right now. I assume that washer circuit takes less amperage than this headlight, but the headlamp's just a smoking. So, lesson learned, don't be an Eric. So I went underneath it and unplugged the washer pump. This should not have power now. Houston, we got a little bit of a problem. We're either on the wrong freaking wire. I know that's the cavity, it told us. That's gonna be embarrassing. What are the odds of that? Finding a connector that looks like what we need. Oh no, it is the right connector because it blew the dang fuse. So we know we're on the right ordeal down here. The wire color underneath didn't match. Son of a monkey, we're on to something. All right folks, we got a lesson to learn here. And the lesson being, sometimes you gotta slow down to go fast, because we found and identified the connector E202 that goes to connector E2. And then we were looking at our wiring diagram, we said, oh yeah, tan wire. So there's our tan wire. Oddly enough, blew our washer fuse though, which is freaking bizarre, because what we neglected to look at, or I neglected to look at, and I'm dragging you down with me, is it's pin 3. So then I find the E202 connector, which is this one, and it shows pin 3 being the single one next to up here. So pin 1, pin 2, pin 3, which is orange wire, which has no power on it, which is ironically enough the same color wire that's down on the washer pump. It's orange and black down there, not black and tan. Good beer, by the way, Saranac Black and Tan. I'm just throwing that out there. Son of a mother lover, why did that one blow the, why did this one blow the fuse? I don't have the key on it. We don't even have power on that one now. Hold on. I do have the key on, never mind. Why does that not got power? Okay, it does. We have no power on this orange. So, because I'm a fool, I don't know why why this one blew that fuse, because the wire color is correct. This doesn't make sense to me. We're gonna have to go with the data. Now let's do this. We're gonna jumper this to power. So our test light is on power here now. I'm gonna go hit the wiper switch and we're gonna see if that lights up. Just out of curiosity. And it does. I'm flickering it. Okay, so that tells us we're on the right circuit. Somehow we just got lucky that went somewhere else. So did you guys see that was flickering? So I guess despite the fact I don't know what I'm doing, we do have to say that we've learned something now. what we have learned is to follow pin numbers and not always wire colors. We've learned that the wiper switch is good and has the ability to turn the circuit on, and the signal is at least making it to here. So now we got to go from here to the wiper motor itself. Let's take a quick look at that. Let's verify the fact that we do have power there. Power should be going through the wiper motor or through the washer's motor and back up to here, but clearly it's not. We've also learned that the wiper circuit does send a ground signal, sends the ground. Obviously it has to because it doesn't go through a module. There is another connector here. It looks like a connector. I have to write this down. My eyes are getting old. E30 goes to connector M1. E30 and M1. So we got to find that connector because we got to see where we're losing this power source and why it's not making it back up here. Again, let's slow down a little bit and retract that last statement. This connector would actually be getting us closer to the combination switch, which we know is good, so we don't need to check that one. This connector that we just checked is the only connector closest to the washer motor, so now we have no more connectors between here and the washer motor. So we're going to go down to the washer motor and just verify a couple things, and then at that point we can make the call and say yes, we have a broken wire. Jeez, talk about making a mountain out of a molehill. Alright folks, I went ahead, I unplugged the wiper motor. I verified we did have power down there, so we have power on the black wire. It's kind of a piss pot where the connector plugs in at the top, so I just unplugged it and I jumpered our headlight across from it. I just want to verify real quick here, we should not have power up here. I mean, unless everything was good. Oh, you have to be... So now we have power up here. Dude, if I just chased my tail for a frickin' washer pump, I'm gonna be pissed.
Is it lunchtime over there?
It's lunchtime, Josh, but I'm about ready to throw a little temper tantrum. Evan,
Yeah.
bend down there, down by that corner. You see my light bulb hanging under there?
Yeah.
You tell me if that thing lights up.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Lights.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah.
It's lighting up?
Yeah.
What the? Evan. Stick to your frickin' diagnostic plan. How many times have I made that stupid video? And I just sat here chasing my tail based off somebody else's collected data for a frickin' bad washer pump. What an idiot. I should just stick to your plan, Evan. Plan to work the plan. It doesn't matter what people tell you, don't believe a word they say. This car's got a bad frickin' washer pump, bad connection. What an idiot. Plus and minus. This is the pump that he had inside the car that says is good. This one's good. Let's go into there and see what in the heck is happening because the circuit's good, everything's complete. Stupid fool. Well, it's too late now to undo this video. I guess I could hit the delete button. But what would we learn by doing that, folks? So here's where we have a 4-amp test light in here. Very gingerly front probe it. Hit the washers, Evan.
Okay.
You got to pull back on the switch, buddy.
Yeah.
How come the wipers aren't coming on? Are you on the right-hand switch?
Yeah.
Did you push the button and shut the car off?
It automatically turns itself off.
Okay, don't step on the brake pedal and push the button for me.
Okay.
What's it saying? Okay, there you go. Okay, now pull back. Okay, let go. Pull back. There we go, folks. Let go of it. Mother-loving monkey lover, I tell you what. Pull back. Hey, look at that. What do you know? What do you say, huh? Are you... And you're telling me that this pump is no good, the brand new one. Pull it. All right, you're good. Shut her down, buddy. You've got to be kidding me, folks. Actually, I don't know if this is the OG or not, but 13 Ultimate worked. He said that he checked this one, that they both worked. What did I do? I believed him. You know what? That's my own fault. I'm not saying that the guy's a liar. Just, you know, it may have worked at some point, but The guy's definitely not lying to me. Yeah, this must be the OG. It's still got the filter and stuff in it. Oh crap, you know what? There's a bunch of sludgy stuff coming out of there. Let's go like this. Hey, shoot, nobody's here. Hey, Mrs. O! Big emergency. Chip chop chip!
Wow, somebody didn't
Okay.
plan for this, huh?
Oh, I did. It's not a huge emergency. I didn't expect to see sludge. I've seen some sludgy stuff coming out, yeah. Definitely chunks of something coming out of here. You can see it falling through the stream.
Lunch is ready.
Okie dokie. Artichoke. We're gonna let that pee-pee into the bucket a little bit. Why is that flowing slow? Is there no vent on the system or a small vent? Let's just make sure there's no more sludge down here. Nope, there's not. Alright. Oh. I see something else flick out of there. Why won't it go in that bushing? Tell me that. Oh, you know why? Because it's a frickin' aftermarket pump and it's got a different size bushing. I hope we got the OG bushing. I think it's the bushing inside the bushing. It is. So throw that thing in the trash. And glug, glug, glug. Oh, she's pee-peeing right on my armpits. This is just pissing right off, I tell you what. Squirt the windows, Evan.
Wait, you want to turn back on?
Yeah. You have to turn the car back on. There you go. Give her a squirt. Hey, what do you know? What do you say, huh? Are they squirting up there?
Yeah.
I feel like a tool. Thank you. Shut her down. Let's slack back on. Haven't ate a good piece of humble pie in a while. I needed one. And you got it. And the best part about eating some humble pie is you got to come along and watch me eat it. Fantastic. I made a ton of mistakes on this. My first mistake is not sticking to my plan and going off of somebody else's collected data. Nothing against this guy at all. Don't even know him. Wouldn't know him if I stepped on him. But I should have, when I engaged with him, talked to him on the phone, he's telling me what he found. We have power here. It's not receiving a ground signal, so on and so forth. So I went with that, and I shouldn't have. What I should have done is, blank slate, put my blinders on, know what he's told me, and just started with my own diagnosis, and I didn't. I did poor research on not knowing that these have a rear washer thing, because I didn't read the diagram correctly. I looked at the diagram and thought it was asking if this thing had a rear camera. Okay. And then I seen it had just one pump. It's neither here nor there. I've made mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. These ones frustrate me because my approach with hindsight, or my approach any other time, would have been customer dropped it off, never talked to customer. They said the washer pump doesn't work. My initial approach should have been, like it always is, I go to the failed component. You go to the washer pump, look on your diagram, see what it's supposed to need. I would have said, okay, it's supposed to have full-time power. That fuse is easy to check. Check the fuse real quick. We got power to the fuse. I would have went right to the washer pump to see what are we missing. Are we missing the power? Are we missing the ground? Are we missing a switch input? That's always my approach, and it's for myself, it's always been the fastest approach. Go right to the failed component, because you can see in this case it didn't, and we wasted 45 minutes looking for this rear camera module, finding we had the wrong stuff, and it's completely my fault. What was wrong with the vehicle originally? Who knows? I have no idea. He says he's put the original combination switch back in it. We obviously just put the OG washer pump back in it, and everything works. We did have some sludgy crap come out of the washer fluid. Did that initially get into the OG pump and stop it from pumping? I don't know. That's nothing that we can really determine at this point, because the system works, the switch works, wiring diagram's correct, we find out, follow pin colors, not wire colors, and everything works. I'm not going to go chasing ghosts now. Essentially everything is back on the car as original, and it works. The only plausible maybe possible thing that could be is that connector that we unplugged and plugged back in. If there was a little bit of crappy connection there, perhaps, but at the end of the day, I don't have an answer for this guy other than we put your original pump back in and it works and the circuit was working. Had we started at the component, we would have known right then and there if everything was working up until that point. And perhaps with some more talking to him in the order in which he was swapping parts, maybe we can find out when he put this faulty motor in. So that's that, folks. I'm still going to publish this video against my better judgment. Feel free to judge me, run me down, ram me down, but I'm only human and I make mistakes. I'm going to make more. That's a promise. And I want you to promise me to go down there in that comment section, leave questions, comments, make sure you criticize me and leave your concerns. Tell me your diagnostic approach. Tell me your war stories where you got dragged through the mud. We didn't get quite dragged through the mud, but we got a little on our boots on this one. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.